Hi everybody, Mrs. Pesic here. We are looking at some problems from the area and volume final exam review. So let's take a look at number 1. It says find the area. So if we're trying to find the area of this circle, the formula for the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. And so in this case, if the diameter here is 18, then the radius is going to be half of that, so the radius is going to be equal to 9. So we're going to plug in 9 and get 9 squared, and we get 81 pi as our answer, and our units would be meters squared. So that's our area, and if we want to have this in terms of a decimal, like rounded to the nearest tenth, then we could plug this into our calculator and get 254.5 meters squared. All right, let's take a look at another one. Let's just take a look at number 3. This time we're trying to find the diameter, okay, of the circle, and we're given the circumference. So the formula for circumference, you could use 2 pi times the radius, but you also have the formula that's just pi times the diameter. So if we plug in 23.9 for the circumference, that's equal to pi times the diameter. And if we want to find the diameter, we're going to just divide both sides by pi. And when we get a decimal for that, the diameter turns out to be 7.6, and the units would be kilometers. All right, let's take a look at number 6 on the area and volume review. For number 6, it says find the missing measurement. We have a parallelogram here, and the formula...
Simon Bales, please come to the office. Simon Bales.
The formula for the area of a parallelogram is going to be base times height. So we're trying to actually find the height. So I'll call that height h. Okay, that's this length right here. And so to find that, we're going to plug in the area that we're given. That's 58.6. The base that we know is 9.3. And the height we don't know, so we're going to call that h. And we're going to solve for height by dividing both sides by 9.3. And when we do that, we end up getting the height equaling 6.3 inches. All right, let's take a look at number 7. This one says find the area of this trapezoid. And our formula, again, you get all these formulas on your formula sheet. The area of a trapezoid is always 1/2 the sum of the two bases multiplied by the height. So in this case, the area of the trapezoid is going to be 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2. So these are the bases, right? Those are the parallel sides are the bases. These two sides are parallel. And so that's going to be 2 plus 7.8, and then times the height, which is 6. So in this case, I could say, you know what, 2 here divides into 6 3 times, and so I end up with 2 plus 7.8, which is a 9.8, but I still have to multiply by this 3 here. So then my area turns out to be 9.8 times 3, and so the area turns out to be 29.4, and the units would be square feet. So that's what you should have for number 7. Let's take a look at number 10. This time it says find the missing measurement, round your answer to the nearest tenth. Again, it is a trapezoid. Our formula is 1/2 the sum of the bases, so I need those in parentheses, times the height. Well, in this case, we don't know one of the bases, right? I'm going to call this base x. We don't know what that is. But I do know that the area is 22.8, so I can plug that in for A, and that's equal to 1/2 the sum of the bases. Well, that's going to be x plus 7.9, and then the height they do tell us, and that's 4.3. All right, so in this case, if I'm multiplying this out, I could actually probably might be good to multiply both sides of the equation by 2. Why would I do that? Well, if I do that, then this 2 here divides out with this 2 here, and I'm just left with x plus 7.9 that I have to multiply by 4.3, and over here I get 2 times 22.8, which on your calculator, that'll be 45.6. And at this point, I personally would like to get rid of this 4.3. I mean, I could distribute the 4.3, but I think it would be easier to just divide both sides by this 4.3. It's okay to do that because this 4.3 is a factor, right? It's getting multiplied by everything else in the numerator. So on the left side, 45.6 divided by 4.3 turns out to be 10.6. And that's then just equal to x plus 7.9. And now I can subtract 7.9 from both sides, and I end up getting 2.7 as my x. And the units would be centimeters, 2.7 centimeters. All right, if you didn't do it this way and you distributed the 4.3 or something else, that's fine. As long as you ended up with 2.7 centimeters, it should be good. All right, let's take a look at a volume question. Find the volume of this figure. Well, this is a pyramid with a square base, and our formula for the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So when you see this capital B here, that means the area of the base. All right, so in this case, our base is just a square that has side lengths of 4. So the area of the base turns out to be 4 squared, which is just equal to 16. So that means my formula is going to be 1/3 times the area of the base is 16 times the height, which they're telling us here the height is 6. And so when we multiply this out, we end up getting 32 cubic yards for the volume. 32 cubic yards. All right, let's take a look at some of the problems from the final exam review. All right, let's take a look at number 3 from this final exam review. For this problem, we are trying to find the area of this kite, and we know that the formula for the area of a kite, we can check on our formula sheet, is going to be 1/2 the product of the two diagonals. All right, so for this problem, I think we're going to actually have to find the length of the diagonals. They're not giving that to us. So if this is, if this part right here is 9, and this is 41, then we're going to have to find this side right here. It looks to me like we have a triangle drawn, and in a kite, the diagonals are perpendicular to each other, so that's a right angle. So we actually have, I'm just going to draw this triangle again. This is 41, this is 9, and we're calling this x, and it's a right triangle, so we need to use the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to say 9 squared plus x squared equals 41 squared. And when we do this on our calculators, 41 squared is 1,681, and 9 squared is 81. And so when I'm solving here, I'm going to subtract 81 from both sides, and I end up getting x squared equaling 1,600. So I take the square root of both sides. Technically, you should do plus or minus, but we're talking about a side length of a triangle, so we only need to get a positive one. And so if we want the square root of 1,600, that turns out to be 40. All right, so now we know, let's go back up to our picture. So now we know that x is equal to 40. So that means that that's just this piece right here, though, is 40. All right, so I'm going to write that in. That's equal to 40. All right, not 90. That kind of looks like a 90. We'll try this again. That's 40. All right, so now we need to find this length here, which is called y. All right, so in order to find it, we need another theorem about kites, and that's that the one diagonal is getting bisected. So if this little piece here is 9, then this piece here is going to have to be 9 as well. And so that means we have this triangle, which I'll kind of highlight over right here, this triangle right here that I'm talking about. that triangle, I'm just going to draw it right here a little bit, to blow it up a little bit. That's 9, that's 15, it's a right angle, and this is y here. So if we're trying to solve that one, slide this over a little bit so we can work over here. So if we're trying to figure this out, we're going to say, again, Pythagorean Theorem, 9 squared plus y squared equals 15 squared. So we get 81 plus y squared equaling 15 squared, which is 225. And then if we subtract 81 from both sides, we get 144. And so in this case, when we take the square root, plus or minus, but we don't need the minus, so we just get y equals 12. So if y is equal to 12, let's go back up to our picture. If this length here is 12, then our kite, if I can kind of drag this down a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to just kind of take a picture of this and pop it down here. Okay, so here's our kite, and we need, remember the area formula for a kite is half the product of the diagonals. So if I call this diagonal D1, let me get rid of it. That's a picture. Can't get rid of it. Let's see. Back it up. Let's see. Let me get rid of this. And try this again. Okay. Getting rid of that one. Okay, so if this is our kite, and if we try and get the length of this diagonal here, that diagonal is going to be, I'll call it D1. D1 is going to end up being 40 plus 12 gives me 52. So that's the length of this diagonal here. But then I also need the length of this diagonal, and that diagonal I'm going to call D2. So D2 is going to be 9 plus 9 gives us 18. So at this point, I know that my formula is half the product of the diagonals. And so in this case, that's going to be half of 52 times 18. And so when we do that, we end up getting 468 as our area, and that would be square feet. All right, let's take a look at this one from the final exam review. This one says find the volume of the given sphere, and the formula for the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. All right, so that's our formula. So we know that the radius here is 4. All right, so I'm going to just plug that in. I get 4/3 pi times 4 cubed. And we're working this out on our calculator. And do I have my calculator open? I do. Why am I working so hard? Let's see. So let me clear this ink off here. And so if I want to do this on my calculator, I want to do 4/3 times pi times 4 cubed. So I'm going to do 4/3, okay, and I want times pi times 4 cubed, 4 raised to the 3rd power. And my exact answer, well, my approximate answer would be 268.1. So 268.1, and that would be cubic kilometers for our volume. All right, but here it did say give your answers in terms of pi. Well, I think if I was going to give my answer in terms of pi, I would have 4/3 times 4 cubed times pi. So 4/3, let's see, times 4 cubed, which is 64. and 4 times 64 is 256. So I think I could write it as 256 over 3 times pi. So I would take either one of those answers here. All right, let's take a look at number 6. This one says a circle has an area of 113.1 square centimeters. All right, and we are trying to find the diameter. All right, so let's start off, though, by finding the radius. Okay, then we can find the diameter next, but let's circle that, because we might forget and just find the radius and stop, and that would not be good. So the area formula is pi r squared. They tell us that the area is 113.1, and so that's pi times the radius. In this case, we don't know, so we're going to leave the r squared, but I need to solve for r. I would start by dividing both sides by pi, and if I do 113.1 divided by pi, let's grab our calculator here. I need 113.1 divided by, pushing my pi button, I get 36. Looks like 36.0008, so really close to that. And so if I get 36 is equal to r squared, that means that if I take the square root, I get r is equal to 6. So is our answer 6? No, because that's just the radius. We're trying to find the diameter, right? Remember our reminder here, find the diameter. So we have to double that, and we'll get 12. All right, and that's it for this video. Hope that you were successful on these problems. Thanks for watching.